Welcome back to Offbeat Gyan. This video is on Anglo Saxon life and it talks about the facts that we know from Anglo Saxon literature. Anglo Saxon literature tells us that the Anglo Saxons were not only warriors and adventurers, but they also had a poetic sensibility. They were among the first group of people to arrive in England. They came sometime in the middle of the 5th century. Their name is derived from two of the three Germanic tribes, Jutes, Angles, and Saxons. So they traveled from their homes on the North Sea coast and the Baltic region to far away England. That is, they traveled from the Scandinavian regions to England, to the English Isles. They arrived in England and soon they occupied most of the islands. They colonized the islands, and one of the ancient tribes belonged to a place called Angeln, Angeln. And this particular name is still in use in that coastal region of Europe. Angul or Ongul is an old Anglo-Saxon word and it means a hook. The English verb angle is often used to refer to fishing. An angle probably comes from the ancient Saxon word. So, the place from where the Anglo-Saxon tribes came is at the foot of the Jutland or Jutland Peninsula, and the shape of this peninsula is like a fish hook. So, the name of the tribe could either refer to their occupation of fishing or to the place of their origin, that is, the place from where they came to England. The word Saxon is derived from seax or a short sword, referring to their swordsmanship. The Saxons were the first to arrive in Britain, followed by the Angles. But the Angles were greater in number. So that is why their new home is called Anglalond. Gradually it became England and finally England. So that is how the name England came into use. Now during the Middle Ages, the Latin writers, they referred to these tribes living in Britain or in England as Anglo Saxons. They used the term Anglo Saxons to differentiate them as the Saxons of England, not the Saxons of the European continent. Anglo-Saxons means those Saxons who belong to England, who live in England. And the same name was used by King Alfred also in his Latin charters. But he never used this name while speaking. He always refers to his England and his English people. During the 16th century, Camden, in his History of Britain, used the term Anglo-Saxon. He used the term Anglo-Saxon in a national sense because he was referring to the people who were the result of the blending of the Saxon and Norman races. So since then, the word Anglo-Saxon has gained wider use and become very popular. The life of the Anglo-Saxons was very tough and difficult. They had to encounter a lot of difficulties because it was a hostile land. There were wild animals and savage people, thick, dark forests. But these men were deeply influenced by the sea. They passionately loved the sea. And this love of the sea, this call of the sea, is evident in all their poetry, including Beowulf. Beowulf has around 15 names for the sea. That means there are 15 names that refer to sea. Home refers to the horizon sea. The upmounding refers to the brim. That means it refers to the ocean throwing up a mix of sand and foam onto the beach. Then there are words like swan road, whale path, the heaving battle plain. All these words describe the glory of the sea. So, their poetry speaks of their complete domination of the sea, even when the sea was disturbed, even when the sea was violent and stormy. So, next coming on to what are the important themes of Anglo Saxon poetry. First one is love of freedom, then innate response to nature, their respect for womanhood, and their quest for glory. These were the main purposes or main aims of their difficult but extremely fulfilling lives. And their lives were closely linked with nature. And this link with nature or this bond with nature is evident in all their poetry. They had great respect for women and the honor that is gained from fighting well. So, these are the important qualities of Anglo Saxon poetry. Every tribe had its own scop or poet who used to document the actions of the heroes into imaginative poetry. And then there were the gleemen who used to sing these songs which were written by the scops. And thus they immortalized their heroes and their heroic adventures. So, Anglo Saxon literature is symbolized by this ancient group of people's cherished ideal of glory and their deep desire to be remembered. Anglo Saxon language. English is Teutonic in origin. It belongs to the Aryan or Indo European family of languages. So, the English are related in life and language to the Indo-European family who spread out towards the south and the west from somewhere in Central Europe. They drove out the native people and they established civilizations in India, Persia, Greece and Rome. So that is why we find that there are certain common root words for father, mother, God, man, for family ties and for certain daily needs in Sanskrit, Iranian, Greek, Latin, Celtic and Teutonic. So it is from this Anglo-Saxon life and language that English national life and language has evolved. There are two classes of words in English language. The first class consists of simple words that are used to describe everyday aspects of life. And the second class of words, which is much larger in number, it is used to increase the beauty, the grace and the variety of the English language. So, the adaptability and the vocabulary of the English language comes from its ability to absorb words from other languages. So, with this, I conclude this presentation on Anglo-Saxon life and language. Tomorrow, you can expect a quiz on Anglo-Saxon life and language. So, please go through this video so that it will be easier for you to undertake the quiz that will be posted tomorrow. Thank you.